officer or counselor of the North End Waterfront Neighborhood Council, Captain Fong, Sergeant Shin, and Officer Boyle are here as always. Let's go ahead.
All right, well, great to see everybody here tonight. And just as a reminder, this meeting is being videotaped, just for everybody's information. You know, lately it's been quiet in the North End over the last month. Our big issues, I'll go over the crime stuff, but our big issues, as everyone else knows, it's just been the snow, dealing with the snow removal, helping the public works with the snow removal, the traffic that's happened after the blizzards, and particularly with, you know, when things are shut down for a couple of days, a lot of people are out to do, you know, whether they're going to doctor's appointments, doing their shopping, whatever. There's a lot of traffic out, and then it gets really congested. So, you know, we've deployed a lot of additional personnel during those blizzards to help alleviate traffic. But there's been, you know, some challenges. And I think probably closer to here would be like the North Station area, where things kind of get backed up sometimes. We do that garden events as well, on top of everything else. So, but, you know, overall, the city has done a great job with the snow removal, considering, I mean, you know, during the blizzard of '78, we were shut down for a couple of weeks, and we haven't been really shut down for more than a day or two, given how much snow we've had. So, you know, it's gone reasonably well, I think, and the clocks go back, or go ahead this weekend on, you know, Saturday going into Sunday. So that'll be, to me, kind of one of the early signs of spring. I'd like to see some more melting going on, but we'll see. And then the other issues that snow related is that we've had people either fall off roofs or things falling off roofs, ice dams and icicles falling onto cars, people slipping while they're shoveling roofs, some roof collapses, none around here. We did have one person fall off the roof, but they're okay. And then big icicles falling damaging cars, which again, I'm not sure we have any in North End. I know in Charlestown we had a couple, but so those are some of the other issues that kind of came along with the snow. But as far as other types of issues, I mean, the homeless complaints are almost really non-existent. When it's this cold, as it's been down in single digits, a lot of the homeless people live in a shelter, which is great. That's where we want them. We want them on the street where they can, you know, get frostbitten or you know, get hurt, and they're off the street. And then, you know, also not a lot of parking complaints either. You know, loud music, the kids. We haven't heard much on that front either. So Teddy handed around the stats for the past month. One robbery, one breaking and entering, and two larcenies, which is a total of 4 Part 1 crimes, which is pretty low. And there was one arrest over the past month, and that was for disturbing the peace, and I'll go over that. So the one robbery that we had happened on February 11th at 11:30 p.m. And this woman was going up to her apartment. She was in a car going up to her apartment on North Street, and she was approached by 2 white males who were asking her for money because they said their car was disabled. And she felt, you know, she was in fear of them. They didn't, like, you know, pull any weapons or anything like that, but she just kind of felt pressured and she was in fear of them. They did not threaten her, but they just kind of not forced her, but she was just, you know, fearful. So she took them to the ATM, gave them $20, and they left. And they were described as both were white males. One was 5'7" to 5'10" in his 30s to 40s, wearing a hooded sweatshirt, and the second one was 6 feet to 6'2" in his 20s, wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt. And the officers investigated that. They found that there were leaflets being handed out in the area for snow removal, and that they matched the description of some guys that were doing the leafletting for the snow removal company, which the detectives traced to a company up in Brighton. And the detective that has this case actually has some suspects in mind because he worked out in Brighton in a drug unit. So we do have some suspects in this particular case, and we're just right now waiting for the victim to take a look at the photo array to see if she can identify the suspect. So hopefully we'll be able to make an arrest in that case. But no, she wasn't directly threatened, and she wasn't harmed. And they got $20 from her. And on the break-in, that occurred at 293 North Street, and that happened on February 13th. And the person reported that, I'm sorry, February 11th. And she reported that She got home at around 8:15 p.m. and when she got home, she saw that the front door had been pried open. She was in one of the apartments upstairs. The front door had been pried open, and they took some jewelry, camera, and some electronic equipment. And the detectives were able to identify a suspect in that particular case. He's been arrested on other charges, a gentleman from South Boston, and that's still currently in investigation as well. And actually, Matt had sent me a picture of a suspect that he received from somebody, and we looked into that, and that gentleman is actually known to be involved in activity in the South End. He might be associated with this as well, so, but, you know, no direct link at this time, so. And that gentleman, one of his kind of things was to pose as a maintenance worker. So he'll pose as a maintenance worker to try to, like, you know, when someone buzzes the door, oh yeah, I'm from the cleaning company or whatever. So that's just for everybody's information in case, you know, if you encounter someone like that, you know, give us a call and check it out. And actually, in downtown on Washington Street, we had a woman in one of the apartment buildings, and she was going around posing as a cleaning lady, and people would leave their doors unlocked because it's either for the cleaning lady or just whatever, and then she'd go in and take stuff as well. And that woman was arrested also, along with another guy in that building downtown. And the first of the two larceny incidents was on February 11th, occurred between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And this happened over at 4 North Bennett Court. And the victim reports she had a ring stolen from her apartment. And the cleaning lady, again, the cleaning lady and a roommate were the last people in the apartment. And when she came home, the ring was gone. And that's currently under investigation by the District 1 detectives. And the next incident was on February 20th, sometime around 2 p.m. at 357 Commercial Street. And the victim in this case had medication delivered to her from a neighbor. And it was OxyContin. And, you know, unfortunately, it's a very popular drug for substance abusers, and once you look at some, victim needs it for, pain, whatever, and someone's stealing medicine. She puts the pills in her cabinet, and the building management arranged for a plumber to go in there to change the disposal, normal routine stuff. She came back, and the pills were gone, and she came back. So that's also currently under investigation as well. And the one arrest that occurred, that was at 464 Hanover Street on February 13th at around 6 p.m. And that was a situation that was involving two tenants in the same building who were just having a dispute about noise. And the officers went there and had them kind of, quiet things down, tried to mediate the situation, and it appeared okay, but then the guy started banging on the wall again to intentionally annoy the neighbor, and then he was yelling and banging, and the officers came back, and the officers heard the guy yelling and banging, and he was arrested for disturbing the peace. And that was really all that's happened in North End over the last month or so.
I want to mention something.
Sure.
Okay. I believe there was at least one incident, possibly two, as highlighted on Matt's website, northendwaterfront.com. So I think it would be two incidents that have been recently highlighted over the last week or so, involving cars, the snow, digging out spaces, someone getting pissed because someone allegedly took their spot after they used the space saver. So, of course, that hasn't just happened here.
Right.
And I believe those are the only two incidents that I'm aware of.
Right.
Or alleged incidents. That happens in lots of different neighborhoods. A lot of people say ground zero for those types of incidents is South Boston. But it can happen and does happen in the South End in pretty much any of the neighborhoods, downtown or even a little bit outside of downtown. So my question is, what, if anything, can the alleged victim in that case possibly do? How difficult is it to solve that type of crime?
I mean, it's generally fairly difficult, just because the person that pulls in the spot after you, whatever, doesn't mean that they're the ones that did it, but, that's something that we follow. And it could be video in the area, but a lot of the residential neighborhoods don't have video unless one of the apartment buildings pass a video where someone sees something, someone happens to look out a window, catches a license plate or somebody that does something. So there's been some damage as a result of vandalism. I'm not sure of specific incidents that were reported in the North End, but we've had some other incidents, downtown in the area, and as you said, like South Boston. So having a conversation with somebody today. So, Matt, you're a camera guy, go around and take pictures of all the different space savers throughout the city, and it'd be kind of a funny little book, and paint cans and toilets and folding chairs, and so the city's been going around on trash day. They'll take all the space savers, and that frees up the spot.
Thankfully, in the North End, there's another trash day tomorrow.
Yep.
No, it's not.
It should be.
Yeah.
Probably scheduled
Yeah.
Monday, Friday. Same
Friday.
thing, recycle.
Yep, and they clear out the space savers, and then that frees up the spaces. And I know some people will just go back and put something else back to save the spot, so. It's gonna be, parking's tough on a regular day, never mind when you get all the extra stuff.
What does that become a police issue? Well, that's a question of police issue.
Well, if there's, because there is no space saving after, 48 hours after the storm, so that's all passed now. So there shouldn't be any space saving going on. I mean, we're not gonna generally, Public Works will just come down and take the stuff and toss it. I mean, I know guys that have moved because of complaints, they'll just move the stuff aside and wait for Public Works to come take the stuff away.
The space saving is, for those of you that did not already know, the city or Public Works Department started to remove the space savers back on Monday, 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And this was right after the South End. South End has really pushed, for what it's worth, they really pushed against space savers. And then boom, right after that, Mayor Walsh released his press release last week saying, starting Monday the 2nd, after the meeting. So,
Yeah. So, we've done a lot of parking enforcement. We also have been working with Public Works on snow removal. And hopefully we'll get some warm weather and we'll get a little melting and not too much all at once. Hopefully nobody has had a leaking roof or any other problems like that. People getting hit with bicycles from off.
There's another roof collapse today, and there is someplace.
Hamilton,
Oh, it's just amazing.
it was camp place, so thankfully there was nobody there.
That means we have to stop building flat roofs.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot more.
I don't think that's a joke.
Yeah.
Does anyone in the audience have any issues or anything that's been a recurring theme or issue or something that may have happened since the last meeting that you'd like to discuss? Nothing recurring or isolated?
I have a couple of things. My newspaper specialist, the other guy here, what if the police have planned for the summer with PAL and those things? You know any of those things? If you don't know any, can you get them to me?
Yeah, we run the junior police academy. We do that every summer.
You had a basketball and a bowling thing?
No, yeah, we get involved with PAL.
I need someone out there, even if it's from PAL.
Yeah, I'll get it in this.
Thank you.
And the only other thing I have to mention is there's a police exam coming up with Boston Police Department. So if you have any young folks out there that you know that might be interested in a career in law enforcement, the exam is on April 25th, 2015, and the sign-up date is by 3/13. So information is online. Yeah, you can go to bpdnews.com, which is our website, and get a link to it. Or you can go to Commons Mass website as well.
What is the maximum age to be able to
It
potentially?
is now 40. So, if anybody here qualifies, I'm not sure.
30 years beyond that. More than that.
But it's a great career, and
Can you arrest a guy who's an undertaker that walks along with a tape measure?
we'll get you back to Linden Center. But no, the police job's it's a great job, and we'd love to get kids from the neighborhood and people that grew up and live here, and so if you have any young folks that might be interested, they can contact the community service office if they want additional information, and they can also sign it. And there is a fee for the exam, but it can be waived if they need some time. $100 application.
Can I have that book? Sure, I'll try to get it.
Absolutely, yeah, if you want to get that.
The budget on back here, this
Probably get something.
Yeah, if we can put some on the page, that'd be great, but we appreciate it.
Once you use that, so you
Oh,
use
good.
that, this could come
They
out.
That's electronic.
Lower?
Put on the page, it came out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I had a quick snow-related question when it comes to enforcement from the police. And what are you aware of, or what have you heard in the North End since we started getting hit with the storms about 5-6 weeks ago in regards to fines that are issued to business owners and/or residential property owners that did not abide by the city regulations, which called for snow to be removed roughly 3 hours after the end of the most recent snowfall?
I don't, that's done by ISD, so I don't have any stats on that.
Is it 3 hours or is it 24 hours?
I've
About
read
24 hours.
24 hours.
I thought it was 12.
Pretty sure I read 3 on at least one location.
I just did a story on it, I can't remember. the
I
number.
thought it was 3 after the snow ends.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
that was snowing.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
You know, when we do, occasionally we do get complaints, and then we'll just refer those also
Okay.
to inspection services. But, you know, for everybody's information, if you do have an issue with anything snow related or whatever, you can contact the mayor's hotline. You can do it online, or you can call 635-4500, and then that, any type of complaint will get, sent to the appropriate, whether it's ISD, Public Works, or whatever.
What's really great too, for those of you who may not already be aware, is the Citizens Connect app on smartphones. It's free, and the city of Boston is logging, or has logged, lots of complaints of all sorts. It's just another online resource from your phone. I've used it to report streetlight outages, for example. I'm not the only one, that's for sure.
You won't hear when I mentioned to some people before the meeting started, the mayor has filed a whole new petition to increase those funds to $300, $1,500 starting next year. Hasn't been passed by the city council. The survey the city council said it was likely to be passed. They may change that penalty, cut it down a little bit, and then it goes to the state house. And it has to go to the state house to change that so the city can do it.
I'm sorry, increase the fines for what?
Change the fines to $300 to $1,500.
For what? For what
Snow violations.
Oh, the snow removal?
Throwing snow from your property on the street or somebody else's property.
Okay.
That's only for
My-
commercial buildings,
Commercial buildings and
Right.
residential.
and it needs state, it's a home rule petition, so it needs state legislative approval, which is,
Man, it does include residential buildings.
okay.
I checked it. Any building. In fact, I'm doing a story on it again.
Just out of curiosity, is it possible to remind the parents that park at the school that, they block that sidewalk now with the snow and you try to walk and cars are flying and it's like dodging cars not walking out the door. I mean, some of them seem like they, I don't know if they.
Which school is Elliott?
Which is Elliott? The Elliott School.
Yeah,
Good job.
Maybe it's a little different now.
We'll mention that over.
Tell you
I mean, it's getting vicious.
Yeah, I
One's deeper
mean,
than the other.
they blocked some one guy's door on the corner of Charter and Union. He couldn't even get out his door. I mean, he was trying to get out. They were like right up there.
And we'll mention
Just out
to
of
the
control.
crossing guy too, to see if they can help kind of manage that with as well.
Quick question about, we all know that the Boston Transportation Department has people that write tickets, for car-related incidents or whatnot, but obviously we don't know that's the police that does that as well.
Yeah.
The average violation is what, roughly $40 or?
Yeah, I mean, they vary obviously, 40,
How about if you're parking in an expired at a meter that expired?
I'm not, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, 25.
That's 25 to
Yeah.
40 if you're parking in the resident pocket.
40 is around there.
You may have heard that city councilor at large, Josh Zaiden, has, I believe, filed something in the city council, sorry, I'm forgetting the word right now, but like a petition, to increase the parking fines around Fenway about 2 hours before and 2 hours after the Red Sox games begin and end respectively. Increase the fine from $40 to $100 because what about people that live in Fenway and have resident parking spots? They can't find tickets because so many of the lots in the Fenway Park area charge $50 or $60 for game day parking. And just like in the North End, people are willing to take their chances, say, you know what, I'm willing to get a ticket because it's gonna be cheaper than the cost of me parking in the garage. I would love to just see the same type of parking fine citywide, although I strongly support that. Yes, that's not a North End, this has to do with Fenway, and it's very specific, game day specific. Still, I'd love to see that all over.
So all you have to do is call the Lamborghini's office and recommend that he file an ordinance.
Of course.
You're his constituent.
Because I think a lot of fines in the city are just too low, and it's not enough.
It's not a deterrent.
For deterrence.
Well, it's the parking garage that charge outrageous fees on those game days. That's what's pushing this.
If you don't give it, when there's no game, it's $10.
Exactly. So they raise their prices on game days.
The city could make a killing just by charging the people they get the no parking for when they move and they leave the signs up. Charge them for littering, $25, they make a fortune. We're not taking them down after they move.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any other issues or concerns? or-
Yeah, I do. When we shovel the snow, I live on Lincoln Street, where are we to put it? I mean,
We're
you
supposed to make a
can't put it
pile
on
on
the
the
street.
curb.
You can't put it.
You're responsible for a 3-foot path.
Yeah.
The rest of the snow you can pile on the curb. Can't throw it on the street.
But then what happens, the kind of shoveling now throws it on top of that and goes on the sidewalk.
Well, then you shovel the street, sidewalk again.
Yeah.
Well, this is a very,
You have no room to put the stuff.
yeah, it's happening all over the city.
I
So
didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah,
The
no,
answer is,
it's-
the landlord is responsible for a 3-foot clear path. You shovel the whole sidewalk, and you pile it on the end of the sidewalk. That's what you pile.
Yeah, but then there's no room for people to go by with carriages. I see
Well,
it.
it says 3 foot in the rule, and
Yeah.
that's what
And
it
that's,
says.
you know, and people have to exercise common sense. I mean, given the amount of snow that we have, this is unprecedented, of course. You know, the people that do the enforcement, they get it. Exactly, just do the best that you can.
By the way, I'm not an expert in this, I get 42 memos on these things a week. What's the rules?
Yes.
I was gonna mention, you know, during the snow, I shoveled and stuff. I actually like to shovel, but I don't have a car. But just reminding citizens, like who reminds citizens about shoveling the fire hydrants? Because a lot of people aren't aware that that's, I guess, our responsibility, right? I mean.
No.
It's the fire department that goes around and
Mhm.
shovels.
And they did a good job, though, I have to say,
Right.
but, you know, when it was,
But the
when it kept
landlords are
snowing,
encouraged to clear out.
Right, the mayor has pleaded with the public to help,
Yeah.
for us to help out.
That's the key word, encouraged.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
right, because a lot of people, they're not aware. They may if they knew, I guess they don't know that,
Yeah.
they don't even know
I
what
don't
they
think an
are.
announcement on the news and stuff.
Yeah,
I just think there's,
asking
but that's public
residents
works,
is-
that's not you guys.
Exactly.
You know, I just had something, there's a hydrant across from me. So I was going to get my cousin, so I happened to walk and I turned and said, where's the hydrant? The snow was buried over it because the waiters and the busboys, when they come out, they shovel. I went crazy. I went in the front on Salem Street. I asked one of the waiters, I said, listen, I lived 49 years on Palmetto Street, and I know there's a hydrant there. I said, I can't see it now. Oh, all right, I'll have someone go this, and that. I went to get my cousin on Front Street. I met one of the firemen, and I explained it to him. He said, call my house, he said, and I'll get on it right away. So I was gone about 2 hours with my cousin, right? I came back, the hydrant was there.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
just
it
let,
was
just let them know right over in Hanover
It's
Street.
full, you
While they
don't
go
even
on.
see it. Especially if there's a fire dropping there. I mean, really, you can't get a
Yeah,
hydrant.
Carol, Bobby shovel.
Yeah, right. Robbie can't sing and he can't hear.
Just give him a shovel.
But I love him though, I
Yeah.
love him. Everybody hears for Bobby. Yeah, he's a good kid.
I think in closing, and I probably haven't said this before, but it goes without saying, for each and every meeting we have, no matter what type of crime stats and incidents we discuss or don't discuss, that is the following. Police are here to obviously serve the public, help everyone out to the best of their capabilities, but they always need our help. This is not just in the actual or stereotypical crime conflict-laden neighborhoods where having witnesses come forward is a huge issue. That's true here too. And in Beacon Hill, and in Back Bay, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anything you hear, please pass it along. Please contact the appropriate authorities, 911, as we always say, you know. Obviously, some calls are gonna get higher priority than others, but the police always needs the help of the public. There's only so much they can do, they're doing what they can. So I always encourage that here. So I won't say that at the end of each meeting, but I just thought of that now, and I think
Marking that down for the next meeting. Next one, Thursday, April 2nd. Thursday, April
yes,
2nd.
always the first Thursday of the month, 6:30 p.m. in this room. Thank you.